Just as we did an example for calculating velocity field in two-dimensional situation, we try and solve a simple example of acceleration field. And since this is the second such example, we call it example 2. In this example, let's assume that flow of water through a nozzle in a garden hose is moving and it is throwing out in a nozzle that is given as in the picture. So, what is the important significant parameters or dimensions of this nozzle? You will observe that the inlet has a larger diameter while the outlet has a much smaller diameter. So the result will be the variation in the speed, although the fluid flow may be example. So the exact speed of the water, if it is water moving out, then it is much higher than what it was at the beginning, because the volume here is whatever the volume that enters, its velocity will be such that the same volume is to be retained at the exit. So that can only be compensated by increasing the speed at the exit, while in the inlet time the speed will be slower or lower. So let us go to the example. As I said before, first we must understand how the problem is posed, because each time, each problem, each flow situation will have its own parameters, boundary conditions imposed on that, and we have to ensure that we apply the right conditions so that we get the correct result that represent the fluid flow in a realistic manner. Nadine, an English name, is washing her car using a nozzle similar to the one sketched in the figure. The nozzle is 9.91 centimeter long, so the length is 9.91 centimeter long, and then the inlet diameter is bigger and its value is 1.07 centimeter, and while the outlet diameter is 0.46 centimeter. So as roughly depicted in the picture, the volume flow rate through the garden hose and through the nozzle is given by 0.053 liters per second. So that much liters per second is the volume rate, not the volume rate. So this much liter per second, and the flow is steady. So with time the flow is not changing. It means whatever flow enters the nozzle, the same amount of flow is exited at the outlet. And now the question is, estimate the magnitude of acceleration of a fluid particle moving down the central line of the nozzle. So we also have to assume the motion along the central line. The fluid flow is given to be steady, it doesn't change with time, and one may think that since it does not change with time, there may be no acceleration. No, there will be acceleration, because the velocity in the beginning is less and the velocity at the exit is much higher. So there is a change in velocity during a certain distance or time period. So therefore, and we also assume that the flow is incompressible. In addition to it being steady as given, it is incompressible, because if it is water, water is known to be incompressible. And the x direction is taken along the central line of the nozzle, that is as given. They have given that the flow is taking place. Estimate the magnitude of flow moving down the central line. So the flow is taking place on the central line, therefore x line, x direction is taken on the central as shown here in the dots. And then by symmetry, there is no motion taking place in y and z direction or theta and z direction. So the velocity components u, v and w will be 0, only u is non-zero. And therefore, since the flow is steady, and we take delta v by delta t to be 0. So the partial derivative with respect to time is 0 because there is no change with respect to time. However, in the acceleration field, the other term, which is denoted by v dot delta, the whole applied on velocity, is non-zero. So, because the fluid is flowing out, so therefore we have to calculate the average components of velocity in x direction, and that's what we try to do. And we use two methods, method A and method B, to determine the values of acceleration, and let us see whether they come out to be the same. So the velocity at inlet is calculated from the velocity, the volume rate that is given to us, divided by the surface area at the inlet. So you know the surface, since the nozzle here is circular, therefore you will know that this surface area is defined by pi r square, and therefore and hence this A inlet is equal to, this will be replaced by, we can replace it by pi r square, but we have not been given the value of r. Instead we have given the value of diameter. So if I calculate it, then we know that r is equal to d by 2, and if we work that out, then it turns out to be, it will be 4 times v dot volume dot rate of volume divided by pi into d square, d at inlet. That will give us u inlet, and when calculated it turns out to be 0.589 meters per second. Similarly, if we calculate in the same way by using the same formula, the u outlet will be 3.19 meters per second. We now calculate the acceleration in the two methods, and where we will take the traveling time and estimate it by taking in a small time delta t, the distance traveled, the movement will be delta x divided by u average velocity. So by fundamental definition of acceleration, which is rate of change of velocity, and in this case, since we are averaging things, the rate of change with respect to average velocity. So acceleration in x component, because the other components are 0, will be delta u by delta t, small difference in velocity covered in a small difference in time. So we take at a small, that is how we do in calculus anyway. All of you will be familiar with that. And that will be equal to u at outlet minus u at inlet divided by delta t, which is delta x by u over u average. If we calculate and work it out, it turns out to be u outlet square minus u inlet square divided by 2 times delta x. In Cartesian coordinates, the acceleration in x direction turns out to be this one. Now we try to see the second method, and we quickly go over it. When we calculate ax and we write, you will remember that we have to calculate v dot delta, the whole within bracket applied on velocity, and plus in the beginning dv by dt. Now dv by dt is 0, because it's given to be steady. The other terms we will have to write. And again, du by dy and du by dz will be 0 because there is no change in velocity in those directions and there is no movement there. All movement of the fluid is taking place along the central line, along the which we have chosen to be x-axis. So the only non-zero term is this one, and we have to calculate this. If we calculate it, then the acceleration component x is equal to u, which is u outlet plus u inlet over 2. That will give us the u by 2, average u, times the difference in u, because du by dx is difference divided by delta dx, which is delta x. When we multiply the two, we get the same result. You will recall this is the same equation that we calculated or computed earlier. So whether we do it by differential method or by algebraic method, the results are the same and they are identical, and the methods A and B turned out to be the same. If we do the algebra, the calculation turns out to be this one, which is about 49.6 meters per second square. That much acceleration even in a steady motion. So the result is, the conclusion is that even in steady motion there can be acceleration. Of course, when it's an unsteady motion there will be an acceleration, but in other conditions also there is a possibility.